Hi friends, my name is Ilyssa, and for those of you that don't follow me already and are maybe just watching this video because you want to learn more about IIFYM and macronutrients, then hello. I have competed in bikini and powerlifting over the past couple of years, and I used to be a clean eater who found refuge in IIFYM, which is flexible dieting, and I'm going to go a little bit into that in a short, sweet, concise video so that you can better understand what macronutrients are, how to use them properly, how to fit things into your macros, and basically what some of the tenets of flexible dieting are all about. So first thing is, you'll see on my shirt, I have an ice cream cone. It says, "Oh, it fits." These are shirts that my boyfriend and I made together. My little company is called Oh It Fits, and I have an Oh It Fits IIFYM guide. It's 64 pages long. It's actually what's on my computer right now, and I'm going to be reading from parts of it. And it's actually available for purchase, and I'll put the link down below, and it's only $1. That's the lowest that I could price it at. You can actually pay what you want for it. So I wanted to be able to spread news and knowledge in an ebook that was not, an exorbitant amount of money, because it's not about the money for me. I really just want people to find the same freedom in flexible dieting that I did. So 1, macronutrients. What are macronutrients? There are 3 major macronutrients. You've got fats, lipids, carbohydrates, and protein. The 4th one is alcohol. Each gram of these macronutrients actually equals a certain number of calories. Every gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. Every gram of protein equals 4 calories. And every gram of fats equals 9 calories. Alcohol is actually 7 calories per gram. Flexible dieting is like dieting with math. There are 3,500 calories in a pound of fat or a pound of muscle. So if you eat in a deficit, I'm going to explain that term in a moment, of 3,500 calories, say, in a week, you will lose 1 pound per week. So we have to determine how to be in a deficit. The first thing that you need to learn about in tracking your calories and in tracking macronutrients is that you need to determine your maintenance level, or basically what you could consume every single day that would not put you in a surplus of calories, aka so that you would not gain weight, but it also would not put you in a deficit of calories, aka you would not lose weight. So a maintenance level is a number of calories that you consume every day that just would keep you at a steady weight. Everyone's maintenance level is entirely different, as even if you are the same age, height, and weight as someone and have the exact same activity level and goals, then you can still have very different calorie maintenance levels and daily calorie requirements in general, because all these things are compounded by metabolism and by how long you've been dieting and your body fat percentage and all of these things. So when people get into flexible dieting, they are kind of worried because they say, "I don't know where to start." So there are some calculators that can help you. The IIFYM calculator online is okay. It's pretty good. You can start there. There are also some other daily calorie maintenance level calculators that you can use. There's a standard method, which is body weight, your pounds, times 14 to 17 equals an estimated daily calorie maintenance level. Now, the biggest problem is that sometimes people don't realize that their maintenance level is either much lower or sometimes much higher than they think it is. So it's important to kind of have an estimation to start with. Then, if you want to lose weight, the general consensus is that every day you will eat at 300 to 500 calories less than your maintenance. So for example, someone like me, my maintenance now is pretty high. I would say my maintenance is around 2,250, maybe 2,300. I'm a 5'10" female who trains 6 days a week. So for me to start losing weight, I would generally have to start eating at around 1,950 calories. When I started a small cut, I'm doing a very slow cut, about 10 weeks ago, that's where I started, around 1,950 to 2,000 calories. Now I've continued to drop weight, and so I have also dropped my calories along with that. So the first thing you do is figure out how many calories am I going to consume daily that are going to place me in a caloric deficit. The next question that we get is, how do I know which macronutrient split is right for me? How many carbs am I supposed to consume? How many protein? And how many fat grams am I supposed to consume? My true answer is you experiment. There are absolutely rules of thumb that people go by when they're determining these different macronutrient levels. One of them being for protein. 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. Of course, people who are high-intensity athletes, people who are trying to retain muscle mass, bodybuilders, might consume far more than this, but that's the general consensus. So, for someone like me, who's at maybe 20 to 25% body fat, around there, I'm going to consume around 130 grams of protein. Then you've got fat grams. Generally for fats, there's a consensus that you consume 0.3 to 0.5 grams of fat per pound of body weight for all people, obese, bodybuilders, lean folks, everyone. Of course, there are ketosis diets and other things where you have higher fat diets, but this is just the general consensus. And then the rest of your intake, to fill up that caloric deficit wherever you've placed your calories limit at, you fill with carbs. The next thing that people do is they say, all right, I've got my numbers. Maybe you figured them out on your own, or maybe you had someone help you with them. Again, everyone's macros are going to be totally different based upon their goals, their metabolism, their height, their weight, their age, how long they've been dieting, their body fat percentage. So do not think that someone else's macros are going to be similar to yours, or that you can learn from using someone else's macros for yourself. The best way to teach yourself is to experiment over time. And for me, for example, I've noticed over time that my body used to do poorly with fats. I used to keep my fats very, very low. But now, over time, I've actually realized that my body is doing better with fats. And so I'm starting to incorporate more fats in my diet. Macronutrients that you have today might not even be close to the macronutrients that you have in a year, because it all takes experimentation and figuring out what works for you. Now, the next thing is fitting things into your macros. So usually what I recommend to my clients is that you use an app like MyFitnessPal or MyMacros in order to begin to figure out how you can translate meals into macros that you can track. Because like I said, this diet is simple math. It is not easy, just like any other diet. It takes time and preparation, and for some people, tracking macronutrients is a tedious process. I understand that. It's not for everyone. But if you want to engage in a lifestyle where you can literally eat anything that you want within moderation, and as long as you track it, then you've got to make some effort. Some of the major benefits that I've seen in IIFYM in my own life are, number one, I stopped hating myself when I was a clean eater. I used to find all these foods that I was restricted from, and I wanted to eat them, and then I would hate myself if I had a bite of them. Now, I look at those things and I say, I can have that, and I might have a little bit of it, and then I'm good to go. Something that a good friend of mine always says is that flexible dieting is not about all the foods that you can't have. It's about all the foods that you can have, but that you choose not to. Flexible dieting is also all about moderation, not deprivation. So once you have a tracking app like MyFitnessPal or MyMacros, you'll be able to figure out how you can translate meals into macros. So a 4-ounce piece of chicken breast, for example, is usually 2 grams fat, 0 grams carbs, and 25 or 26 grams of protein. So think about it mathematically. You can do the math yourself. 26 times 4, right? Because protein has 4 calories per gram of protein. You times that together, that's around 100 and 104. Then you take 2 grams of fat. Remember that fat is 9 calories per gram. So 2 times 9 is 18. So you get close to 120, right? It adds up. So you just have to be more conscious of looking at packaging. Now, you have to remember that packaging is generally going to be correct in terms of the macronutrients that it shows you. For example, Quest bars. They're going to show you that it's around 8 grams fat, maybe 21 grams of protein, and say 25 grams of carbs. Now, if you add all of that up, it actually doesn't equal 190 calories like a lot of the Quest bar wrappers say. In fact, it actually ends up being around 240, maybe 250 calories. So, a lot of times packaging lies. There's a margin of error. Macronutrients will generally be correct, but the calories that they give you might be off by a bit. That's why I always say that it's important to not just check the calories on something, but to check the macronutrients on something that are equaling the true calories, not just the net calories of that particular food. I've gotten much better at IIFYM over the past couple years. I'm kind of this self-titled macro queen. I know how to make things fit. I know how to play the game that is food Tetris. There's obviously so much more to say about flexible dieting, and I can't make decisions for you as to what foods you make fit your macros, of course. But that's the beauty of flexible dieting. It's all about choice. It's all up to you. It's all about what can you do that makes you happy in your diet. It's not all about all the things that you can't have or restricting yourself from things that you believe are bad. Because there are no bad foods, really. And I explain a lot more of this and go into depth in the ebook that I talked about. But hopefully this video was a great way for those of you who are just starting out with macronutrients to figure out what macronutrients are, how you might go about setting your own macronutrients, and how you can start to live a more flexible lifestyle in your diet based upon simple math in dieting. I know that some of the things I said in this video might have seemed reductive or maybe are more complex than I made them to be, but that was simply in the interest of time. If you're interested in more in-depth study of the things that I've talked about, I recommend that you pick up the ebook that I wrote. Again, it's just $1 and I put it in the description box below, and I hope that you can all begin to learn more about flexible dieting and recognize that flexible dieting is really a sustainable and long-term solution to both weight loss and muscle gaining.